This abandoned building came crashing down from the weight of the heavy snow.
Tonight on Denver7 News at 6.
It went down.
Will this weekend's storm be a repeat of 2003, a pale comparison, or something even worse? Mike is going through the models.
Plus, what the snow could mean for people in line to get the vaccine.
We don't want to put anybody in harm or, in danger with the roads or anything.
Boulder police close in on rioters.
We've identified numerous suspects of the property damage.
Douglas County requests permission to lift restrictions.
We are really trying to balance between safety, lives, and livelihoods.
Broomfield goes the wrong direction.
I found out through Channel 7 that we're going back to yellow.
And a Denver man is denied an apartment and a refund on his deposit.
I felt like my hands were tied. There was nothing I could do. These guys were bullying me.
Good evening, and thanks for watching Denver7. I'm Ann Trujillo.
And I'm Shannon Ogden. In a state with weather as unpredictable as Colorado's, it can seem silly to plan for a storm this many days out.
For a storm as potentially severe as this one, it seems ridiculous not to. Some of the models are monstrous, and if they hold up, we will measure snow not by the inch but by the foot.
The National Weather Service has compared our upcoming situation to the March blizzard of '03 when buildings collapsed in Denver and would-be skiers were stranded at Eldora. Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson has been tracking the storm since the moment it materialized, and he'll be with us boom or bust until the threat has passed.
And Mike, there are several different projections out there, so is there one that we really should be paying more attention to than others?
I would tend to be in the middle on those because that's the most prudent thing to do. There are some outlying models that show 4 or 5 feet of snow, others that show about an inch of snow. But let me just bring you up to what's happening right now. We had a high today almost at 70 degrees. We now have clouds on the increase in the Denver areas. A cold front comes in. This is not the main storm, but it will bring us a little bit of snow tonight. There's already some developing west of Boulder and west of Fort Collins up around Red Feather Lakes. There's a winter weather advisory in Steamboat. But here's the deal, folks. The main storm is this one. It's not even on the west coast yet. It's 1,000 miles away. It has to go through the Cascades. It has to go through the Wasatch. It has to go through the Rockies of Colorado before it gets onto the eastern plains, which will be late Friday night and early on Saturday. So there's a lot of things that can change over that course of 1,000 miles. There are big changes coming, a little snow overnight, heavy snow for the weekend. I do think we'll see 2 to 4 feet of snow along and east of the Continental Divide. And I'll show you right now what looks like the most likely area for that coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, look forward to that. And Mike said it, I've said it, Ann said it. The storm might not turn out to be so bad, could be terrible. We don't know yet, but what we do know is we'll be with you every step of the way, both on air and through our 24/7 weather streaming service.
And vaccine providers have not canceled or rescheduled appointments because of the forecast. Denver7's Gary Brode asked what it would take for that to change.
A massive snowstorm in Colorado isn't out of the ordinary, but when it means some may not get their vaccine on time, well, that's cause for concern.
Short term is the brief answer.
That was Governor Polis' response Tuesday afternoon when asked how long this could impact vaccinations in our state.
As far as I know, there's been no vaccination clinics canceled yet, but stay in touch with yours, weather pending. For now, keep your appointment, keep your plans. If it's mild to moderate weather, I fully expect that everything will occur according to schedule.
Hospitals around the state, like UC Health and Denver Health, say they haven't canceled their vaccination plans this weekend.
We're close to 500 people signed up for this. That's why we think it's imperative to continue with going on with the clinic.
Deb Saniga is with the Latino Coalition of Weld County. They're holding a mass vaccination inside a clinic this Sunday in Evans. As of now, it's still going forward, and they're still taking signups.
I mean, we can even say come rain or snow, we're there. But we don't want to put anybody in harm or, in danger with the roads or anything. So we'll keep an eye on it and take a look and make sure that everything looks good.
If the Latino Coalition of Weld County has to cancel, they say they'll reach out. Along the same lines as what the governor said on Tuesday.
If there are areas of the state that are impacted by severe or unpassable weather, people will be notified by their provider, and those will be rescheduled within a few days.
With thousands of vaccines ready to go, the governor doesn't expect to see an issue in supply, similar to what we saw as a result of the storms in Texas weeks ago.
As the vaccine is in hand, they're ready to go. It should not have a delay of more than a few days.
Gary Brode, Denver7.
Boulder police have identified several people involved in Saturday's debacle on the Hill, and arrests are expected by the end of the week.
We are pretty much inundated by community tips with videos, names of people involved in the property damage and the violence towards first responders.
CU administrators appear to be equal parts angry and embarrassed about what happened Saturday. Today, they urged anyone involved to get tested for COVID and apologize to neighbors for the damage done.
Douglas County commissioners are requesting the state relinquish its restrictions. Clearly, they have their supporters. Dozens of people gathered in Castle Rock this afternoon to protest the status quo. Commissioners say they are trying to balance lives and livelihoods. Doctors sympathize but worry that without restrictions, people will stop taking the virus seriously.
We are not doing this recklessly. We're getting a lot of emails from people saying, please do this right away, and others saying, oh no, don't do this. So we are not doing this recklessly. We are working hand in hand with the governor's office and the state health department to make sure the whole state does this together in unison.
You can reopen and you can do things safely, but the problem is when you reopen broadly, people throw away the rest of the rules. And they're like, we're open, I'm not wearing a mask, I'm gonna let 50 people in, I'm gonna stand really close to you because I really wanna be close to you and not care about these things. I think that's really what it is. It's not the reopening, it's all the things that potentially go with the reopening that give me anxiety.
Now, for its part, Tri-County Health agrees reopening should be sped along. As of last Wednesday, 57,000 people living in Douglas County had received at least one dose of the vaccine. The county currently has a positivity rate of 5.3%, and that is above the threshold established by the World Health Organization.
Colorado Rockies will be allowed to host 21,000 fans on opening day. The health department had previously capped it at 12,000 people. Masks will be required except when fans are eating and drinking. And by order of the Polis administration, bars in level blue counties can now serve alcohol until 2 in the morning. Level 1 can go until 1, level orange to midnight, level red has a night cap of 10 o'clock. But while the state is taking a step forward, Broomfield's taking a step back.
As Denver7's Patrick Perez reports, the first metro community to achieve level blue status is now the first to lose it.
A little over 2 weeks ago, Broomfield County went from level yellow to blue on the state's COVID-19 dial.
We were ecstatic about that.
It happened a lot sooner than Steve Bauer, the owner of Northside Tavern, would have expected.
Business picked up a little bit from that, and since then I hired 2 new servers, a new host, 3 new dishwashers, another cook.
But on Tuesday, we were the bearers of bad news.
I woke up this morning, first day off in a long time, slept in a little bit, met a friend for lunch, and then I found out through Channel 7 that we're going back to yellow.
The city and county public health director says it's due to an increase in COVID-19 cases. Not much is changing for restaurants like Steve's. Capacity is still at 50%, but under the recently updated yellow guidelines, there's no need to use the state's distancing space calculator. Still, Steve wishes someone would have told him about the change.
I think that it would be good to have maybe a plan of communication first and then roll with it, where it seems like it's very knee-jerk.
Down in Denver's North Capitol Hill neighborhood, the team at Pride and Swagger is celebrating a different kind of change. Restaurants in yellow counties can now serve alcohol until 1 a.m. That's 2 hours later than it could just last week.
People are used to starting their nights at 9 and not ending it. So I think that will definitely be kind of the change we need to start ramping up on business.
General Manager Will Roman says this will bring a much-needed boost to business.
Everyone wants to, everyone's been really great about the rules, but you can just tell like Denver's always kind of been a later night city.
A sign from state leaders, Colorado is headed in the right direction. In Denver, I'm Patrick Perez, Denver7.
A Golden man is being blamed for causing a crash that killed a longtime Tampa police officer. Investigators in Florida say 25-year-old Joshua Montag was speeding down the wrong side of an interstate last night, and within 1 minute of the first 911 call being placed, Montag's car would slam into a police cruiser driven by Officer Jesse Madsen. Madsen's colleagues believe he intentionally put his cruiser in Montag's path to protect others.
This is a tragedy. You know, our community has been rocked by these wrong-way drivers, and it's just a complete tragedy that a husband and a father of 4 is now gone.
Montag was also killed in the crash. Madsen's badge number will be retired.
A marathon hearing was held today for 3 people arrested during last year's protest in Aurora. And of the 3, Lillian House faces the longest prison sentence. Prosecutors say she committed attempted first-degree kidnapping when she blocked the entrance to the Aurora Police Department. And we caught up with House ahead of her hearing.
With 48 years on the line, you just can't be casual about charges like this. And so, but, you know, with that said, we feel that it's extremely important to fight this, to go to court, to show that these were nonviolent protests, that they were justified, that they were necessary, and, you know, that this cannot be infringed upon, criminalized, and punished, the peaceful protests that so many members of our community participated in.
The hearing went from sunup to sundown before a judge finally called it a day, and they'll pick it up again March 15th.
There's been a lot of talk about systemic bias since protests broke out last year. Well, I spoke with an expert, Dr. Bryant Marks, and he says there should be many more conversations.
These are universal human principles that apply to all of us. As long as human beings exist, they will have both implicit and explicit bias, not going away. Okay, but there are things that you can do in the best interest of your personal development and your organizations to try to reduce the likelihood of your biases playing out systemically.
And Dr. Marks lays out his toolkit in Hidden Bias of Good People, and you can watch. It airs at 7 o'clock tomorrow night right here on Denver7.
Hope you enjoyed the warm weather today. The big snow is on the way.
And an apartment complex denies a renter's application.
So that was fine, you know, that happened.
Ben holds on to his deposit for good measure.
So they took your money and then said you don't qualify and we already rented it.
Yes, exactly.